Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to. Yeah. Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, yeah, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. We're hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Just know that I'm here.
Uh-oh. This thing on, huh?
Check. 1, 2.
Testing. How's it go? 2 trailer park girls going around the outside, around the outside. Are we that cool?
I think we're showing our age on that one.
2 trailer park girls going around the outside. Guess who's back? Back again. Pondoff's Anonymous.
It's back.
Fuck have we been, Jeff?
It's been a long time.
It has.
And we've got a new face here.
I was trying to avoid that. We have been on a hiatus, but we're back. And we have a third co-host, a third co-host. There's 3 of us now.
Yeah.
Is it called a co-host when there's 3?
I don't know. Tri-host?
Try it out.
Bend me over and I'll be a tripod. I'm sorry.
A
I'm just kidding.
threesome.
That was a dirty joke. Menage a host. I like that. Menage a host. Yeah. Jakob Miller, welcome to Pondoff's Anonymous.
Oh, thank you.
2.0.
That's right.
Jakob Miller, the executive director at Illinois Recovery Center, is our new tri-host.
I like it.
We're going to have to coin that.
Welcome.
Tri-host.
Yes.
Jacob, the non-clinician.
Yeah.
Jeff, the liberal.
Yes. Now more than ever.
Ooh, tough times. We won't get into that.
No, good idea.
This is a show for love.
It's a
Show
family,
for kindness.
It's a family show.
It's a family show. Guys, this is crazy. I can't believe that I'm talking into a fucking microphone right now.
Yeah. How long has it been since we did this? Do you know the last show date? I don't.
It was in October of 2020.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was at a park.
Yeah.
We did a show. It took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
4 fucking years.
That's crazy.
Took out of me. No, it was a serious episode. We had a family on that has lost a loved one to suicide.
Yep.
And it was the annual walk we do every year in this person's name, Randy Hoff. God bless your soul, brother. We had his wife and stepdaughter, ex-wife and stepdaughter, widow, sorry,
yeah,
and mom, who I grew up with, and it was heavy. It was important, though. I think it was, and it's important to always honor that shit. But I remember finishing that and knowing that we had a break coming up because we talked about it, and I was, I think I was on precipice. I think that's a word of some career changes. So I said I need to kind of put the podcast over on the shoulder of the road there for a second and explore this and maybe. But everybody said, "Are you ever going to do it again?" I said, "It's just a break." So
yeah, just a very long break.
Long break, like a high school career break.
Yeah,
4 years.
Yes.
I think it was it 20 or 21? We started in 20.
I want to say it was 20.
I mean, I guess we could research
20.
that.
Yeah,
like pulling on our phone and looking,
yeah.
but I'm lazy.
Right.
And a lot's gone on in those 4 years to get us back to where we're at today.
Yep.
And that brings us, we're at a right now temporary studio. I've been bitching about the optics of it since I walked in the door. And Jacob's been breaking my balls. He worked very hard. I guess fucking yard sailing for this desk or what. But we actually are we're building a podcast studio here at Illinois Recovery Center.
Yes.
In a building that's under construction, but the space is done. We just really need to outfit it. And we even maybe next episode will be in there. So
cool. Yeah.
if you're watching this and going to turn us off because the walls are ugly, then go fuck yourself. I'm kidding. Just hang on. Just chill. But yeah, man, for me personally, it's been a long 4 years, an important 4 years, since we stopped doing this. And it was never maybe we'll do that again. I knew we were going to do this again, Jeff. And in the first round of Pondoff's Anonymous, there's more than one handful, probably more than two handfuls of people that it impacted. And I'm not saying this like to jerk myself off. We did reach people that were struggling.
Yeah.
People that were on the fucking downward spiral or at the pit, and their families. And when they called us, we had a connection in a treatment center that we could send them to. And as you know, we were able to build a bridge and spread hope. We just knew that this was important. It's not I think when we were first meeting with Jacob last week or 2 weeks ago, I said it's not an ego thing.
Yeah.
And Jacob said, yeah, it's an ego thing. Is it a little bit? What do you think? Is it
just healthy ego, right?
Healthy, I
Right.
guess.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
For you, Chris, it's not healthy.
not healthy. It's not. I mean, this is so I bring it up because since we've took a break, we now have our own treatment center.
Yeah. That's badass.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And as we've been open for 18 months now, plus,
Plus, yeah.
right? And can you
June of 2022, right?
June of 23.
23. Feels like it's been.
Well, I think
Feels
you were
like
swinging hammers and painting
Yeah.
walls before opening day. Every time that I'd come, it's the Eric, who we actually had on our podcast,
Yeah.
and we'll have on soon, is the big dog out here at IRC and business partner and been in this game and has a hell of a story himself. So we'll have him on again. But him and Jacob were painting walls and swinging hammers, and I'd come out, check on progress, but I'd have a fake cast.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I'd help, but my fucking knee is barking it.
It's a phone call, every time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shit, yeah, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. I'd send them some pizza.
Put that cast in the front seat for the carpool lane.
Then they'd like look on Instagram. I'd be at the fucking golf course.
Pondoff's at the hockey game again.
God. But yeah, so it probably seems like a lot longer than 18 months.
Right, yeah. Feels like 1 month and 5 years all
That's
wrapped up
yeah.
in one, but a lot of growth too. So
500, 600? How many people have we
we topped over 700 the last time I pulled numbers.
Wow.
in 18 months?
It's amazing.
And we've gone from 16 beds to 48 now with outpatient too. So
Wow.
It's fucked up, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I pinch myself. So yeah, I have a career, an 8 to 5. That's not in this sector, if you will, not in recovery. That maybe allowed me to be more substantial in this, and it was always as we were painting walls and swinging hammers. It was always we're gonna have a podcast at IRC, and I would look at these fuckers hoping they remembered that I had done a podcast before. I don't know if it was any good, but everybody and their brother could do a podcast, right? So
Yeah.
I had to and they're finally like, yeah, it's going to be you fucking Jacob. All right. And Jacob was like, I actually listened to your podcast a little bit. And I'm like, you did? Man, you must have been struggling.
taught
But-
me how not to live,
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And he's like, oh, let's do it. I'm like, well, come on. Let's have some fun. And it is a lot of fun, and it helps a lot of people, I think. And it's, we don't take ourselves too serious, and we're going to have a lot of fun conversations on addiction, recovery, mental health. I think, Jeff, that's so intertwined.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is.
Jacob, you know that, the non-clinician. Yeah. I say that because anytime Jacob, when my wife's a therapist, she is a clinician. Anytime we're conversing and he says, "No, actually, I'm not a clinician." Here comes his clinical opinion.
Right. Yeah.
But he's been, yeah, he had been.
I've had credentials at one point in time.
There you go. So Jacob is the executive director at IRC. He's been in. Oh, you go ahead. I'll introduce yourself.
He's the only one, by the way, with a bio on the website.
Right?
Really? What the fuck?
That was an ego reason, you know.
I want to buy him.
You're not even on the
I'm
website.
sure I'm not.
Yeah, other steps first, Chris.
I don't have a key to this fucking place. Yeah, Jacob, give yourself a little bit of your background here on.
So, like Pondoff said, executive director here at IRC, but my background is clinical for the most part. Was a counselor for quite some years, then really grew into like peer support specialist type of role. I like that side of treatment, the one addict helping another in recovery myself. Bit over 8 years now, clean.
Congrats.
So November 8th, 2016. Had to think about my clean date for a moment, but
Doing pretty good if it's not right off the tip of your tongue.
Right.
You don't think about it every day, but it's always there. But like I said, worked in treatment, started working in this field as a tech, for outpatient work. Basically, I did UAs all day.
UA. Explain.
So, yeah. I was a glorified pee taker, so I had pee in cups all day for me and tested them, So I did that for 10 hours a day, 4 days a week.
That's really working from the ground up.
Yeah, I would say.
Then just kind of started loving helping people, giving people, like, this is the only job I ever worked where you can, like, see change in another human. Like, when you see somebody walk in the door day one and you see them again just 10 days later, like, that's a different human standing there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And you'll get no bigger reward than that.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. That is, it's life-giving.
Absolutely.
Work and the experience we have on the team here at IRC that has clean time that are in recovery. 80+%.
I think the last time I kind of checked, we're at like 87% of staff is in recovery.
It's just a level of, it's the whole if you know thing.
Right.
And Jeff, where you've always fit in kind of on this podcast is the technical guru, but morphed into a fun, awesome co-host.
I was not supposed to be here.
You've had your mental health.
Yeah.
You shared it back in 2020. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Since we did this podcast, I had actually a diagnosis so I could finally figure out what is going on with me in my head. So, it's good. I've got a thing called cyclothymia, which is a weird under the bipolar rate, umbrella.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's, like if bipolar is like a huge ass roller coaster up and down.
Fuck, I had no idea. That's all.
Yeah. Then I'm on like the kiddie coaster.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not quite as like,
we get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite as, up and down as bipolar, but
That's
it's
a good
under
way
that
to put it.
umbrella. Yeah.
Well, good for you for getting that.
Yeah. That helped a lot. Once you figure out what is going on, you can, treat it right. So yeah, man.
I'm sure that's helped. You've talked about your anxiety in the past too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The anxiety of not knowing.
Oh, it's incredible.
We had a good friend of mine on early. It was probably our last interview in person before COVID hit, when we then were basement podcasters after that. But Michael Wellington came on and talked about his bipolar diagnosis. He's written books and done a lot of coaching and helping, and learned a lot from him on it, and other clinicians and non-clinicians. But it's that, so it makes sense to me when you say, where severe mania up and down, bipolar, and using that roller coaster. That, thanks for sharing. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And
don't ask me to spell that.
Cyclothymia. Cyclothymia.
I didn't even know.
Starts with a C.
Yeah, I thought I knew it. I think I know. I thought I'm fucking know it all. So I don't even know that.
I would have guessed the S, but
yeah,
you struggle.
Yeah,
or a PS.
So good. That's good, man.
Yeah.
And it's all intertwined. think it's important to note about, and we'll talk about IRC throughout the episodes that we do and the work we do, and we'll bounce around quite a bit because it's who we are, the diagnosed or undiagnosed ADHD, not on Adderall, not a big fan, but the mental health aspect is to not acknowledge it and treat it while you're treating substance use disorder. Alcoholism would be, I guess I could say, my opinion would be, it'd be negligence. So we have a full team of clinicians and 2 clinical directors. One, and Jacob, you can correct me if I'm wrong, oversees the inpatient. The other one oversees, we just opened our IOP program, which is, go ahead, tell.
Yeah. So we have somebody that's like a clinical director over our inpatients, like residential programming. Then we have another one that's over top of our IOP program. But kind of the way our treatment's designed too is our inpatient, like a lot of the staff also do outpatient work. So a lot of our clients that come through the whole continuum of care, they keep the same case manager, they keep the same peer support specialist. So there is also a lot of overlap there. So like both our clinical directors work hand in hand for inpatient and outpatient. So.
Yeah, that's great. When people ask me and we get the question, what separates Illinois Recovery Center from the other ones, and I don't know much about the other treatments. The place I went to, where I went to rehab, is closed. These guys have all worked at other places, and know people that are still at those facilities. And we try to maintain the healthiest, relationship with all, because the truth is there's not enough beds for this shit. It's just not. No. And it's more dangerous today than it was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I hear Jacob and Eric say when we're giving tours often that you learn this from your clients, you can't even get fucking heroin anymore. It's all fentanyl.
Oh yeah, heroin not even a drug anymore.
You almost wish you could go back to it. I've heard people say that, like, who would have thought we'd be at the point where we wish we could go back to fucking black tar heroin.
Right.
Because we could treat it and it was less lethal. But so my point is, what separates us is our family program that Jacob helped establish. Our therapist that oversees it is fucking genius, in my opinion. It sets us apart. I really feel that way. I don't think it's offered as standard at other facilities. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've heard it's not. But
some do, some don't.
I just have seen it work, and for people to, I'm not an employee at IRC, obviously, or maybe not obviously, just FYI, I'm not an employee here. Neither is Jeff.
Right.
I get the privilege on Saturday nights to lead a church group for our clients and inpatient, and it's open to our alumni from 6 to 7, optional, obviously. We're not beating people over the head with Bibles. And we're not a religious-based recovery center. We're by any means necessary, right? Mm-hmm. And if I say something that's not clinically accurate, Jacob, you can jump in. But it's a privilege, and it's the Saturday night. It's as the family program's leaving and concluding, because it's on Saturdays. And I've seen, like, to Jacob's point, you see transformation, like, fucking quickly in this shit. You see healing. I remember what it was like going back to your family relationships or your friendships outside of as soon as you get out of rehab, and there's some misconceptions, I think. What do you guys say, Jacob, that a lot of families think if Jacob or Chris get sober, then our whole family goes back to fucking normal and everything's fixed. Right. And that's bullshit. A lot of education from the clinicians to mom and dad or brother and sister or whoever is in your immediate circle. There's a vetting process to make sure that, if you're a female that comes in to treatment and be in a fucking abusive situation, we're not, we're going to try to figure that out, so we don't discharge you to a horrible situation. So that stuff gets vetted, and part of the family program process. You have to participate in it. If we plan, I've heard Eric say this, you plan your discharge upon arrival. So we have case managers, and that's industry standard, but it's really important. And that's usually what I say separates us. And I stand by that.
Right. So like when I was looking at programming and what like model we want to follow or whatever, I couldn't really find any out there, but we really want to go with like a systematic approach to treatment. Like Chris said, like we can heal the addict, right? But then they're going back to the same living environment, the same family with maybe misunderstanding or their own issues going on, their own resentments, right? That's huge when we get clean. So when we have a client come in, we want to, one, fix the family dynamic, right? Get it all out there while we're with clinicians that are trained for it and know what they're doing. And then we also want to fix like the community, right? So if I leave here and I go hang out with the same people in the same places, then I'm going to use again, right? It's going to be downhill. So our alumni program is 7 days a week. It's very recovery focused too, which a lot of alumni programs out there are all designed around fun. Ours is designed around recovery based programming and then fun stuff sprinkled in, right? So when somebody comes here, we work on the family stuff so that they do family program. It's mandatory. Like if your family wants to visit, on Saturdays, they have to attend groups for it.
Yeah. That's right.
And then the alumni and our current clients, like they meet with each other. They integrate. You'll know most of the alumni before you leave treatment. So you're not walking to somewhere new on new faces. They're already working with you, helping you out, going to meetings with you, giving their number, supporting. So like all that's done while you're in your first 30 days. So as soon as you leave here, like you're set up. You got new friends. You got new community. Your family stuff is at least starting to heal, right? Because it takes more than 30 days to heal family. And so you're not just sending somebody better back into a sick environment. You gotta work on it all. You're just not.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. That's I guess from a personal experience, it just was non-existent where I went. And I'm here, but fuck you going. All right.
He's got a shit.
Yeah. Jacob has left the building.
Yeah.
But, we can do this.
That's fine. We've done it before.
Yeah. No, I kind of like this, unscripted, reintroduction to the podcast. I don't think I've mentioned that where we're at. So yeah, right. we're at Illinois Recovery Center, but where? Swansea, Illinois.
Swansea.
Belleville East School District.
Belleville Junior, Swansea, Illinois.
Right in the heart of alcoholism.
Yeah, Fridays is down there. What's the other couple taverns near us here?
Yeah, there's plenty. And, I will say this, that and Eric and I will share more as we progress and he comes on with us. But it was really a dream come true to be able to open a treatment center in your own backyard where you grew up. We were always looking in Illinois, but there was a couple properties we looked at in O'Fallon, Caseyville area, and it reminded me of when Ashley and I were looking at our first house. We put in an offer on what we thought was this house we fell in love with. Wrote a fucking letter, and it was during it was actually during fall of 2020 when we bought our new house and the rates were really low as well. We were able to afford it, but it was crazy. You got 5-10 minutes with this house and you had to write a letter and put an offer in, and an hour later and you find out it was insane. And, and we lost out on this one house this weekend, and we were kind of not devastated or heartbroken, but we were sad. We were like we got rejected. And,
you get your hopes up about something. And
believe it or not, I've been turned down a couple times at the bar.
No.
It felt like that.
Impossible.
And, not a whole lot. Yeah, right. And we said, and the realtor said, guys, I know it hurts, but you don't know, next weekend there could be the house of your dreams. And literally the next weekend, the house we're in now, which I would say we love it. House of my dreams is maybe a stretch. I love it. It's and it had all her non-negotiables, and none of mine made it over. So. But
your dream.
it did happen literally the next weekend, and I bring that up because when we kind of struck out for whatever reason, didn't work at these other properties we looked at. This place where we're at came on, and it was like the scene in Christmas Vacation when the fucking light shining down on the big ass tree, and when Eric pulled the trigger on this property, he didn't have the saw because it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right, Jacob? But the build, it's spread out. There's 9 buildings, 9 structures. Is that right?
9,
including admin and the gym. But it's like a junior college campus.
Yeah.
There's residentials. We have a detox, 2 residential housing units, dormitories.
Yeah, it really is cool. I used to live in this neighborhood when I first moved to the area, and I would drive by here all the time, and I don't even know if anything was here at that point. But the fact that all this was, the structure was here, it's almost like it was just made for this.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It was sitting here, and it had been a adults with disabilities clinic. It was called Specialized Living Center, and it seemingly shut down almost instantaneously. Eric will say people like just put their pencils down and left. And then it sat vacant for 24 months, maybe.
About 3 years. I think.
3 years, 36 months. Yeah. So a lot of work had to be done. It was a very institutionalized look. And place I went to rehab was like a fucking hospital, like a psych ward hospital.
Yeah.
Probably appropriate for me. No, I'm kidding. But it was very hospital, and we did not want that. We wanted you're here to feel better and learn. You're forced to be outside because you got to walk to the cafeteria outside to the building. Where we learn at in the group rooms, the therapist's office. So it's really it promotes some independence, and it's the paint on the wall and the floor and the carpet. It's not a hospital vibe at all.
No.
We're not Passages of Malibu.
Thank God.
But we don't cost as much as Passages of Malibu.
I am
if that's even left after the fires, heaven
geez.
forbid.
Yeah. I'm actually curious, and maybe Jacob, you could tell us a little bit, like how long does treatment last? Like what's it like?
What this fucking question.
I mean,
it's a good question.
Well, I'm just saying, what if I'm listening to this and I'm like, all right, it's time. What am I in for?
Right. So there's like different stages of it, right?
Yeah.
So, but like typically, detox residential, you're looking at like 30 to 35 days.
Oh.
It really kind of depends on the person, your progress, how you're doing, stuff like that. There's other factors that play into it, but average by about 30, 35. Then there's outpatient treatment where I did outpatient treatment for about 4 months after I got out of inpatient, 30 days.
Yeah.
And that's like 3 times a week you go in.
Did you do IOP?
Yeah, I did IOP. So I was what I call a state funded addict. So a little bit different where I didn't have health insurance. I was homeless. Thank the great state of Missouri paid for my care, but it was also not a Passages Malibu, but
right.
But you're looking at for just detox residential 35 days, then outpatient about 12 weeks, 13 weeks. You'll be in that for, but it all really depends on your progress, right? Because there's no timeline of recovery. Right? Somebody might get it quicker than others. Some people might take longer. All that matters is that we get it. Yeah. So
I did 12 months of outpatient, but it wasn't IOP.
You probably did GOP, once a week type of.
I did 3 times a week, an hour each week of group. So I would go during lunch at work, and I would do my group, cognitive group therapy, and then 1 hour a week individual therapist.
So it's like general outpatient.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
I dropped every week. I think I had, you had to. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was at ARCA. Not a bad. I mean, I do laugh. I fucking sent the first therapist I had flowers and asked her out. Didn't realize there were boundaries and shit on it. Ashley laughs at me now. She's like, "Oh my, no, you didn't." I started getting some feeling back, baby. I was like, "Fuck," And she was good, and sweet and empathetic and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So and cute. Fuck me. But she didn't say yes, she didn't say no. She just, what do they call that these days? Ghosted me.
Ghosted.
Get ghosted by your therapist.
Whatever. It was boundaries.
You're the guy at the strip club who thinks the stripper's into him, aren't you?
You talk, motherfucker. I was engaged to a stripper. You dickhead.
I forgot about that.
She wasn't there.
Are you trying to bring up old shit?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. No, I'm the guy at the strip club that actually fucking landed one. No, sorry. Don't listen to this.
Don't ya?
No, bygones be bygones. God bless.
Amen.
Prayers up.
Let us pray.
Let us pray.
It's the first time it's been said, and I said it. What the hell?
That's all right. We'll close.
I took it.
But no, that's a good question because so many times I get a call. I do outreach for IRC. Like, people know my story. I've shared it still online on the armpit of America social media. So, but there's some good of it. This will be all over it. Yeah. And I'm open at our church about it. I say our church because Jeff and I went to the same church, go to the same church. He used to work there.
Yeah.
And
we've all had career shifts.
Yeah, right. God bless. So people reach out and I did this too. I said, I just want to do outpatient. I don't want to go to inpatient.
Right.
I get that. I don't know, not 100% of the touch points I get from people that want to consider changing their lives. So it's been tricky now that we have outpatient. Like I have to do some work with you, Jacob, on those conversations, but and I know that there's stats out there that it works, that people can maybe try to go. It just, to me, it's almost like cutting the line. Like if you need to reset.
Outpatient is like a crucial part of treatment.
Very, very important.
It does not work by itself.
Thank you.
You're talking to, so I've been the outpatient 30 times.
See, and that's why I get that call now because it seems, it's not a full dive in, right?
Yeah.
I hear it. Every person now that reaches out, and before we had outpatient, they want, do you guys offer outpatient? I mean, because they are scared.
Yeah.
And I was scared to go to say, I need inpatient rehab. I want to, or I get this a lot, Jacob. I'm going to go to a couple meetings a week.
Right. Yeah. It don't work.
And it's good luck. And it's, there's a fine line of me being an asshole about it. Like, I'm not trying to be an arrogant asshole. And I try to be compassionate and gently tell these folks, but maybe not so gently. Like, I'll talk when it doesn't work. I'll still be here. We're still here.
Right.
But you really got to fucking dive in, man.
I was actually talking to some of our newer clients. Once a week, I do an orientation group, welcome the new clients, kind of explain me. There's one person on every part of the treatment team that goes over there. We just talk about what we do here with all the clients, and it's crucial because recovery very much is one of those concepts of what you give is what you get.
Sure.
Right. You give it 100%, you get 100%. You give it 10%, you only get 10% results. Your first 30 days of being you're in your disease, you're full in sickness going on, trying to get better. 20% don't cut it. 30, you got to go 100% in that first 30 days to get you. I say our goal in inpatients is get you 2 steps ahead of your disease. Right.
Right.
We just want to give you some type of leeway when you do have an 80% day, a 60% day. You're not back to 0%. You're not falling right back down. That's what inpatient's designed around. It's where you can actually go 100% for 30 days, all about recovery, living recovery, 8 hours a day recovery to get you those couple steps ahead. So when you go right in the outpatient for being that ill, you get 30%. That's all you can do 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. Then it's not likely to succeed. Somebody out there, I'm sure there's going to be somebody. No, I did it.
Sure.
You lucky motherfucker.
Right. Yeah.
You're a 3% person, so.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I needed a complete fucking reset, break, separation from my phone, from the computer, from work. I needed it all. Mm-hmm. And to give 100%, and I try to be gentle about this when I do the church shit on Saturday nights. It required for me to be a fucking 100% surrender. I had to surrender 100% to this thing that's this disease and and humble the fuck out of myself.
Right.
And I'm not cussing to cuss. It's important. It's how I emphasize things. Like if I did not, it was the ultimate humbling. And if I did not get humbled, and it was a God thing for me, I'd still be, well, I may not be here today. I probably wouldn't be. I'd probably be dead.
At the point of your rock bottom, were you a functioning alcoholic or no?
No, not at the worst.
What do you think about people who are functioning, who need treatment? Because I feel like I'm blessed to not be an addict. So you know, with that said, I don't quite understand, like, for me,
you have syphilis or whatever it is. What's it called? Cyclosyphilis?
Cyclothymia.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Jeff's clarifying he doesn't have syphilis.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious, like, if I'm someone who's a functioning alcoholic or addict or whatever, like, the whole thing of recovery would be, like, daunting to think, oh shit, I got to tell my job that I got to go or something like that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
What does that look like for people? I mean,
so one, like, your job doesn't even know you're in treatment.
Yeah.
Right. Cause like there is FMLA, your job is protected, but they just know you're in a hospital stay.
Right.
Right. Like they don't need to know
if you don't want them to.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. They don't have to know. That's
Yeah.
one thing that people like, you don't have to tell your job that you're an addict or alcoholic or whatever, but, your job is protected by that.
Right.
And then the word functioning addict, usually when my experience with people that are functioning addict, it's a cop out. Like I'm good at work.
Right.
My home life is falling apart.
Sure.
Though.
Yeah.
My
Something is falling
relationships
apart.
are,
Yeah.
my health is, right? Functioning addicts, like we just find that one area of life that's not so bad that we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fine.
Which is one out of like
five.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know,
It's
so-
in the last one.
So it's very rare to be a real functioning addict.
Mhm.
There's some addict that can keep a job,
Yeah.
but everything else, like there's different areas we have to look at there.
That's
So,
a great point. Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think of slippery slope when I hear somebody say I'm a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
That they're
for now, you know.
yeah, bingo.
Right.
And to Jacob's point, it's what they're functioning at is the last thing that they're functioning at.
Right.
Yeah.
But to the vocational, there's a lot of vocational empathy is gone up. It's probably
Yeah,
even
right.
since we
Oh,
did
extremely. Like
Yeah.
this, Jeff.
Yeah.
the stigma on addiction has like gotten, at least in my recovery, in the last 8 years.
Sure.
It's night and day difference.
Yeah.
So like the acceptance of people in recovery,
Mhm.
or the help
And
that's given.
If I may add, it's because of conversations like this.
Oh, 100%.
Good
And people
point.
who are willing
Fuck
to
yeah.
just talk about it.
And I'll tell you what, the reactions that I got going and then post, like in living a life of recovery, is first people would do their own self inventory and be like, oh fuck, if Pondoff got it. Then they'd start saying, well, how much you drink, Chris? Like what they want to know by the fucking drop of how
Yeah.
much I was having, just to make sure they're not drinking as much as me, which is dangerous because there's a lot of different types of alcoholics.
Yeah.
Just because I was drinking rock gut whiskey of all waking hours and shooting Rumpelmans doesn't mean that I may be the less, like, I don't know if this is a word, acutely dangerous alcoholic than the guy or gal that drinks 2 times a week, but when they drink, they're fucking getting so shit-faced and blacking out, maybe driving a car,
Yeah.
opposed to the guy that's drinking his liver to fucking shit.
There's a lot of like levels too. Like,
Sure.
so like diagnosis wise, like actual, like there's tiers of addiction. There's mild, moderate, severe. One thing we have to understand too, as me and Chris, we both would be classified as severe addicts, right? I can never become a mild, right?
Sure.
But a mild can become a severe.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So if you can, like, if when we talk about rock bottoms, because rock bottom is always a key word when we talk about treatment, recovery, where we think rock bottom is like where my life is just shit.
Yeah.
Everything's done. That's not rock bottom. Rock bottom is when you decide you don't want to get any lower, right?
Uh-huh.
Because any rock bottom out there, common sense, there's a cellar to it. There's a basement to it. It
Right.
always gets worse. Rock bottom is just where do we decide I don't want to keep going down that path. I want to change it. I don't want to go down anymore, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing we have to look at rock bottom. And in rock bottom, I believe is like not a physical surrounding, it's emotional standing. So I have yet to meet an addict that's in recovery that did not feel despair and isolation.
Mhm.
Right? That's a rock bottom for an addict. I'm hopeless and I'm alone.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I'm around a group full of people all day. I'm all alone. Right?
I can
we've all felt
feel
it.
those words in my fucking gut.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's rock bottom though. You know,
Yeah.
Sure.
rock bottom's not losing your
It's
job.
100% where I was
nothing
at.
like that. So
Yeah. Wow.
So that's rock bottom. So if somebody's out there listening, they're like, well, I have my job, my marriage is going all right, whatever the issue is, how do you feel? You know, if you're feeling that isolation, despair, welcome to the club. You're just like us. There's hope for you.
Hope, and that's the thing that people will see. Jobs, especially in when people do their self inventory, they realize pretty quickly, especially with alcohol, because it's legal.
Yeah,
and they start thinking, wow, that could be me. So all those, and to your point, yeah, we're talking about it, which is huge. I mean, with any fucking stigma out there that we're talking about it. So yeah, but that's a good question about jobs. That's probably one of the biggest excuses I get on, well, I got to go to outpatient, or I can't check in because I got a job.
Right. I have personally never seen, not saying it's not out there, I have never seen a job use your in recovery against
ever
a stat.
Yeah.
I've seen jobs use like, hey, you're showing up hungover every day against somebody.
Right.
And I don't want to sound like a negative person here, but if you don't think your job's aware, they know something's going on. Like they will be very happy with you taking 30 days off work and coming back a better worker, right? Because you're not going to be hungover. You're going to be on time. You're just going to be firing all cylinders again, So I have yet to ever see anybody say like, "You're in recovery, shame on you." Like it just doesn't work that way. Most employers are happy and they're aware.
Yeah.
They know something's going on.
That's interesting. I love this. I love your expertise on this.
God damn! I wish you would have said that. His fucking head.
I know.
He's
it's just
pretty
really,
wise.
You're putting words, to things that people I think about, and give themselves excuses.
I learn a lot from this asshole.
Yeah,
but that's a really good point. What he said, like something I never thought of. You can go. You're not going to go from severe to mild. You go the other way. It's going to happen, but you're not going to back it down.
Yeah, just once you're at that level, there's no going back.
And I have a lot of people that want to, what do they call it? Self-taper. They're going to self-taper. And I tried it. I'm going to go, I'm not going to drink on, I couldn't wait till the weekend. So I'm going to say, I'm not going to drink on Monday or Tuesday night. I made it till
Monday night,
the middle of like fucking Monday Night Raw or something. If I was watching it. Yeah, right. I might have gotten through the workday and I may have not got a road sodie for the ride home. Mm-hmm. But as soon as I got home, about an hour into it, I was like, fuck this. I'm having a drink.
There's so many times I put like rules on my use. Right. If that's when, like I'm not going to use here or there, or I'm going to wait till after work, or at least for me, every rule I've ever made for my use, I broke. Mm-hmm. Eventually it got broken. So
and I've learned a lot from being on this side, I guess, of treatment now, having a place, doing outreach, being around our team that lives, that works it every day. And I've seen some really, really sick people. And I've seen really sick people get really better. Yeah. I mean, and it's a fucking gift, man. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see real life transformation happen, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So, it's awesome, and we have a lot of people that. What was I saying earlier today? It's not the Kevin Bacon distance, that 6. You talk about now. You talk about alcoholism. I was at lunch today with somebody for just a business lunch, and got talking about recovery, and the person had a immediate family member that needs rehab yesterday. Yeah, like you don't have these conversations. Somebody's like, well, my neighbor's uncle's cousin Betty. It's my fucking brother or my mom or my kid. Is an addict. It is less than 1 degree of Kevin Bacon on this. And since we've, taken our 4-year break, our college degree break, it took me longer for you. And I'm actually 12 hours short. But,
hey, me too.
I told Ashley that a week before we got married. I said I went to U of I.
Me too. I've got the same thing.
Thank you. She's like, you fucking sprung that on me a week before we walked down the aisle. So you never asked to see my diploma. That's what it's called, right? That's
jobs
high
are.
school. Diploma's high school. I
No,
got that.
They're both diplomas.
These are-
A degree.
My dad's best friend always told him, he'd say, Tommy, you know the only thing that kept me from college was high school. Shout out TC. It's something else. But since we've done this and since we've opened the treatment center with is lethality a word? The danger, fucking deadliness of fentanyl, and now xylazine, which is a fucking animal tranquilizer.
That's a new one
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
We'll tell you about it. I've had to give 3-4 eulogies. Close fucking people. Love them. Families wrecked for what shouldn't be a death sentence.
Right.
And it's not, you don't like, and Jacob probably talked to this, you don't, some people go out to get fentanyl because they need to, but there's a lot of fucking people dying that don't know they're taking it. They're maybe wanting to do blow or wanting to smoke weed. It's like fucking laced in weed now, I'm hearing, or these vapes.
Fentanyl's in everything.
Right.
Like I've seen people, like, it's probably been about a year and a half since I've seen a drug test that was like, did not have fentanyl in it.
Wow.
Like we get people like just using cocaine, prescription pills, right? Just prescription pills. And they're coming back positive for fentanyl or xylazine. It's because these people are just making them themselves, stamping them, and there's fentanyl in it.
Wow.
Kids dying thinking they're taking Adderall to study for tests, and it's fentanyl, and it kills them. Mm-hmm. So it's more important than ever, because I always say thank God like pills and heroin wasn't my vice.
Yeah.
But I was a teener or an 8-ball away from getting a fentanyl fucking overdose, and without a doubt. So for the alcoholics out there, or the loved ones of alcoholics, think that it's dangerous. It's fucked up. It is really dangerous. And I've also seen people's livers given out at young fucking ages, and that is not pretty. It's an ugly, 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 hard, horrible sickness. And eventual death if you don't get a transplant. Like, it's not a joke, man.
Will they give you a transplant if they know you're an alcoholic?
I don't know the rules on that, but I would imagine.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
I believe, like, I don't know. I've heard that Pat Summerall got a new liver. Now, granted, Pat Summerall is a famous alcoholic, right? The football commentator with John Madden, and I think he got a transplant. It may have been sober after that. I don't want to say things I don't know, but
don't know, yeah.
I to your point.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's that ain't pretty,
Right. Yeah.
and I don't think that should be someone's backup plan. That they're gonna, I'll just drink this liver out and get on the list.
Yeah.
And there's some like, is that fair question? I can see like your eyes. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe the person that I don't want to say it didn't do anything to the liver that has a bad liver gets the in front of closer to the line. I don't know how that shit works. I don't want to say anything I shouldn't, but we'll have Dr. Chris on here.
Right.
Yeah, we do need to get a doctor.
We're going to have a lot of people on
those,
though
so.
through this. We have some wild, important stories to share. We have guests already kind of lining up that want to come on and share. And, we're not going to be all doom and gloom. Hopefully we're entertaining to the 4 people that listen to us.
Exactly.
Our wives, our friends. You're not married
As
yet.
if my wife's going to listen to this.
Right.
She knows better. She's a ball breaker, your wife.
She is. She's
And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
Spitfire is what I was going to refer to her.
That's absolutely.
What are you looking at? Are you trying to get out of here?
No. We got plenty of time.
You got fucking all night, baby.
To speak on that doom and gloom, though, the positives, like, I have yet to see an addict that cannot recover. So
That's
no matter how bad it is for you, like, recovery is possible for us all.
Yeah.
And what I tell a lot of clients are, like, people in the rooms that I talk to, like, at least for me, like, all you need for recovery is willingness. At least that first stage of it. Like, for me, like, I did not believe in recovery. I didn't trust it, didn't believe it. I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think I deserved it, right? Did not think it was possible at all. But I had willingness. I had that with like I don't know how to word it, but I was lucky. I was so desperate. I was willing to do whatever it took, but did not believe whatsoever it would work. But I showed up. I kept showing up.
Eric Calm Easy says pain has got to get great enough for someone. And when you said that you're so desperate, that's kind of like the pain was finally fucking painful enough.
Oh yeah. And then just showed up. Just willingness to just put in action towards it. Like my brain said no every step of the way, or just that little voice or loud voice in the beginning, like, you're going to fuck it up. Not going to work. You're going to fail. You're going to fail every fucking day. But you know what? I'm just going to show up, put action towards it, right? Because one thing I've learned in my recovery is, like, I don't have any control over my brain. My brain's a horrible place sometimes. A lot better now, you know, but have 100% control over my actions. Like, that's what treatment gave me. Treatment gave me the ability to have control over my actions again. Because active addiction, no, not at all.
Yeah, right?
Like, every day I woke up, I'm not getting high today. As I went and got high, you know, but treatment gave me the ability to control actions. Brain, that took some years of work and some 12 steps and some therapy.
You're a big program guy.
I believe in that. I like all programs, but I'm a 12-step guy myself.
I was going to ask that actually, because as someone, I'll be the outside guy who has never been through recovery or a program, that I'll ask those questions on this show.
Yeah, please, good.
Beautiful. But that's what I was going to say. You're a 12-step guy. You went through. You did 12-step program? Yeah,
so I do Narcotics Anonymous.
Okay.
Like, I can put that out there, but personally, but I'm a big fan of recovery programs.
Yeah.
So I've read most literature out there for recovery programs in general, but I'm a little bit biased because it saved my life. But I am a big fan of the 12 steps. I think they did the way they have it set up is very well designed.
Yeah,
and you've talked about it extensively in our work together, and
I mean, it's the tried and true, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's been around forever.
There's a reason it's the biggest.
Yeah,
you know, and like Smart Recovery, that's a fairly new one. It's been out now for about a decade or so, probably 20 years actually. But it's a very good program as well. Big fan of Celebrate Recovery. It's a 12-step program though. It's a good one. Refuge, or I think Dharma now. I might have that reversed. Might be same program as one of those names. They switched it up there, but there's very good path. Like, no matter your personality, what you like, believe in. There's a program for you. I don't suggest, which this is where I see different than some other people in recovery. I don't believe we should design our own program. I don't believe Jacob should make a program for Jacob. Yeah. Right. Because
I see what you're saying.
Because I got myself, I don't want to say I got myself in this position, but like my thinking got me here.
Right. How'd that work out for you?
I have a thinking disease, or my thinking is skewed. Right. And one thing a lot of us don't look at when we're thinking of like in recovery, a lot of us don't think about, my best intentions are not the best for me, right? I'll think I'm helping somebody. I think I'm doing the right thing, and it blows up in my face a lot of the times. Yeah. So I need something to kind of guide my program. You know, that's why I like somebody already did the work for us. A lot of addicts and a lot of alcoholics went out there and put boots to the ground and figured out something that works for us. Don't make it harder for us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just do as they suggest, you know?
Yeah, that takes a lot of humility.
Yeah,
to get to that place.
That's what Chris spoke of that earlier. Like, you got to have humility.
Yeah.
I always tell people the first step, like, we have to accept, like, I don't know best for me. And that's a hard thing to admit. That, like, I always say, like, I remember talking to somebody earlier in recovery where, like, I was in early recovery, they were not. But he asked me, what was my goal in life, right? Like, your whole life, what you want out of it? I said, well, I wanted to be married. I wanted a career. I wanted, like, a white picket fix, nuclear family, right? I wanted the American dream. He said, what'd you get? I'm like, well, I was a homeless heroin addict. He's like, well, maybe let somebody else run the show for a little bit and see what happens. Yeah. And that's what I did. And today I have a beautiful career, nice car, beautiful family, you know, great relationship.
No razor.
Everything. What?
No razor.
No, okay. It's cold outside, you know. But that's what that's what I got, you know. Like everything I wanted in life, as soon as I quit trying to control it, I got, you know. Yeah. And that's where the recovery program came in.
Serenity prayer comes in that, right?
Yeah.
You know, I hear a lot of things you're saying, and that it resonates. For me, it's not a Chris Pondoff program, but it's the key to it's humility, and then it's wisdom is listening, right? And there's all the cliches. God gave us 2 ears and one mouth, right? Like listening to people that have done it. And I've heard, we've had to have this conversation with people that are here still trying to do it their way, a couple days into detox. And I've heard you say it. I've heard Eric say it. Like, how it ain't working, bro. Like, just pump the brakes, chill out, and liberate yourself. Let us show you the way. And it really is, like, just got to let go, man.
And that's where that surrender is. Right? I always say, like, the best, like, imagery I can use, like, my whole life basically was I was playing tug of war against a mountain, wondering and trying to think of all these different schemes and way to beat the mountain. The reality was I just had to drop the rope.
Yeah.
Just stop playing. I don't need to do this.
You didn't move it.
Yeah. I don't have to play tug of war. I can just stop and go the other direction. And that's what, like, to change my light switch, as they call it in recovery, that's when that happened. I was like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to figure out that. Because, like I said, all we need is willingness. That's what was my biggest hiccup every time I try to get clean, was I thought I had to know some shit. I thought I had to understand what recovery was. Yeah. You don't need to understand it. You just got to do it. I still remember, like, when you do a 12-step program, a lot of other programs probably are very similar. The first thing your sponsor tells you to do in NA is read the 109 pages of the book, right? That just tells you exactly what the program is, goes through a lot of details of it. And he told me to read it. He said, read it in 30 days. You have 30 days, read the 109 pages, you can do it, right? Go through that, 30 days ends. He's like, did you read the pages? I'm like, no, I'm on page 45.
Did they make a movie? Somebody told me to read
audiobook.
And they're like, and I got to page 100, and I'm like, I'm on page 45. He's like, how the fuck are you only on page 45? I've talked to this man every day.
Yeah.
And every day he's like, are you reading? I'm like, yep, read today. He's like, how are you only on page 45? Like, you're lying to me or something's up here. I said, well, I got to reread it over and over because I'm trying to understand what the hell it's saying.
Yeah.
He goes, who the hell told you to understand it? I just told you to read the book. That's where I say, I'll use my I statements here. Ashley will like that, little therapy stuff.
Not a clinician.
But I made it harder.
Right.
All I had to do was read 109 pages. I didn't have to be an expert. I didn't have to know what I'm reading. I just had to do it. That's what that willingness is. And that's where a lot of times when I put my...
That's your sponsor?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where, like, if I put my thoughts into it, what Jacob thinks is best, I make it difficult. I had good intentions to understand it, right?
Yep.
It makes sense when you hear that. Like, oh, yeah, it makes sense when you want to understand it. But that's not the right intentions to have. The intentions I have just willing to do something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So,
we were talking about your brain, and I was telling this to somebody the other day that and this isn't not trying to give myself a reach around here, but
yes.
when I am giving back or when I'm doing some service work, whether it's as little as fucking church, being on a team at our church or church here at IRC, or donating something to somewhere. Anytime I'm doing shit like that, it gets me out of that space between my ears. And the more time out of my own fucking head, the better, man, for Chris Pondoff.
That sounds like what is that what the alumni program is for?
Well,
because it seems like from what I'm hearing, alumni here are involved with the clients, the current clients, quite a bit.
Sure. Yeah, so it's like
a give back thing.
It's both.
The programs are. I mean, it's ingrained in AA, NA, and the 12-step programs that service work. Whether it's service work to just show up to fucking group. Like it's to be there, to be a presence,
hold the door open,
right. All that's and it. Yeah, to that point. I mean, it is so critical to be in a community, and whether you're serving or being a sponsor, having a sponsee, right? That and I'll get to my recovery program because I did not, and I don't work in a 12-step program. I believe in it. We have seen it save so many lives, countless lives. We have them all here every night. We have an outside group. Is that accurate? How do we do that?
Yeah. So 7 nights a week at 6 p.m. every night, we have some type of like recovery focused group. So tonight we have a AA group book study going on.
Yeah. In the gym?
Yeah, in the gym. So that's alumni over there, clients are over there. Tomorrow is Thursday, right? So we have Smart Recovery comes in on Thursday, does a meeting for the clients, and our alumni come to it. But then on like Monday, we have, well, I'll just go through every day of the week. Right?
Yeah, go for it.
Monday, we have an open AA.
You went Wednesday, Thursday, now to Monday.
Yeah, so-
That's a pretty good fucking way to be linear.
That's what happens in my brain. You know? So Monday night, we have an open AA meeting that's open to the public. So anybody can go to that one, right?
Can clients?
Yeah, clients are go-to, yeah. And then if any member of AA or not, I guess it's an open meeting. Then Tuesdays, we have NA comes in and does a speaker meeting for the clients or alumni. And we also have a women's only open to the public AA meeting in the gym. Wednesday, or is it AA? Thursday nights, we have Smart Recovery. Then we also have it open to the public Veterans in Recovery meeting.
That's right.
Which is, from my knowledge, the only one in the nation that's in person.
Wow.
So it's for veterans or active military that's in recovery, a support group for them.
We're next to Swansea. Obviously, we have a very large Air Force base within 10 miles, right? 15 miles,
right.
So,
and then Friday, we have alumni meeting, which is like kind of like that's where the alumni do their service work, really.
Yeah.
We do a Q&A panel. We'll have like 20 alumni up in front of in the gym where all the clients can ask questions to them. Like we'll have like a topic, so if no one else asks questions, they have something to talk about. But really, the main focus is always that first like 10 days after you leave treatment.
Yeah.
Because treatment is crucial, but it is a bubble.
Yeah.
And when you walk out of that bubble, it pops, right? So the world starts hitting you in the face and it comes very fast.
mm-hmm.
So the alumni start helping them. How do you navigate those waves once you leave?
I have so many questions. Just
ask away, brother.
Just like from the, maybe from, excuse me, from a point of view of somebody who just doesn't know and finds it so intriguing. Like, so can you go, if you, let's say I would normally go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Could I go to an AA meeting?
Yeah.
And it would work out?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in like a meeting's a meeting.
Yeah.
Right. Because I believe a meeting is a place for like-minded people to get together.
Yeah.
With the same common goal of being better.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe really in like, I shouldn't like have an NA sponsor and work an NA program, then have an AA sponsor work in an AA program.
Yeah.
Or do that and work like it. I don't believe in working separate programs at the same time because they're all right and they're all teaching you how to walk again, but they're giving you slightly different directions on how to do it.
Yeah.
So you get multiple little slight directions, you're going to trip and fall, right?
Yeah.
So you want like your main program, but a meeting's a meeting.
Yeah.
You know, if you need a meeting, you show up at a door where the meeting's at.
Yeah. So, okay. And then my other question is semi-related. So at the Friday meetings, is that when you have the alumni who it's a Q&A?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
What's that like? Is that like anything goes questions?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's no like down and dirty, like, hey, these are the too afraid to ask questions. I'm asking them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no, we don't believe in filters or censorship here. You know?
That's really cool. No, that's good because I mean, that's just, there are questions like that you're too afraid to ask.
And we do that in our family program too. I think it's crucial. Like one of our groups in our family program is the family members with no client in the group. It's just the family members and loved ones and one of our peer support specialists. So peer support specialist is somebody that's like has a credential, they had to do training and stuff like that clinically to get it, but they're also in long-term recovery.
Yeah.
And we allow those family members to ask that person whatever they want, you know, like, and explain the side of the addict to the family. But like one thing, when I created a program similar to this years ago with Kevin Button, that's our family program director here now.
We'll have him on one.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's amazing.
I've learned from him every time he fucking talks.
Nice.
And when I started that group, I started realizing that like a lot of families, which my family was the same way, they had no idea what recovery was. They knew what active addiction was. That's what I put them through for years.
Sure. But they were experts in that shit.
Yeah, but they never seen the eyes of recovery and like what, because I would share my story with family members, like bits and pieces of it, right? But I'd also share it through like my mindset then versus my mindset now on what I was doing to like my mother, right? The stuff I put her through and the guilt and shame I carried for it, but how like the addiction drowned that guilt and shame out of hurting her, you know, and getting to that side of it and showing them like, this is how recovery is possible. Like, this is how we make our amends. This is what we do. Mm-hmm. And it takes time, right? Because I know my mom, she's a saint, by the way.
Yeah, I've met her.
But
true story.
The first thing she
big blues fan.
Oh, huge blues fan. She calls them all by their first name. You know?
That's right.
But one thing she did to me that was a blessing for my recovery, and she gave me a year. She goes, take 1 year and then fix all the shit you fucked up. And she didn't bring it up for that first year. She let me just focus on my recovery, do that. And then when I hit my year, she best believe she's like, time to start making some fucking amends. But she gave me that time because she understood that, like, one, when I got clean, my words didn't mean anything. I could scream at her all day, I'm going to fix everything. It don't mean nothing, right? I lied to that lady for 15 years. She just watched me for the next year. Then when I got to my year and I started making my amends, it was a lot easier that way. You know, I didn't have that because how am I going to make amends with 30 days clean? How am I going to make up for 15 years of fucked upness in 30 days?
Right.
And I'm not in the mindset to do it, right? Because most of my amends I would have made, which I got some of these years in recovery, like when I was making my amends, that person told me to fuck off and die. They did not forgive me, right? Which they don't have to. That's not what amends are about. It's just me doing what I need to do to make it right.
Right.
And if I would have heard that at 45 days,
yeah, man,
I probably would have fucked off and died.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got to have that recovery to back it. That's why I like the 12 steps.
Yeah.
Making amends is not step one, right? There's a reason for that.
Right.
So I was always told, because that was my big belief when I got clean too, was I got to get out of here and make everything right. And this guy named Tom, he was my grand sponsor, my sponsor's sponsor. He's a big mentor of mine. He said, if you want to make amends, you do a step one. That's how you get there. So that helped me kind of think about it that way. Like I'm not putting in the back burner, but I have to take these right steps to get there. So I can't do it now.
Yeah.
I think that's important for a lot of, because that's all as soon as we get clean, the first thing we want to do is make amends.
Sure.
We're going to go clean all the stuff we fucked up. Well, you're not that person to be able to do it yet.
Yeah, that's wise, man.
It is.
I'm a wise guy, Chris Pondoff.
Fuck. Here we go. And Saturday nights we do church.
Yeah.
Thing. We bring that. So, which, hosted by the Gathering and play the sermon. There's two actual clergy, not Gathering employees, but two Methodist pastors that help me do it. So they bring some fucking credibility to the communion table. But yeah, we offer communion, and it's just it was not. It's great that it's awesome at the Gathering to do it. It was not something that was available at the place I went, and I think if it were, I would have attended. And there's a lot of in 12 steps, even there's a lot of higher power. There's a lot of God. I mean, for us that are faithful in this shit, it was life-saving for me. So to you had mentioned earlier, Jacob, like what our experience is what we know. Mm-hmm. I've had to tell people recently that this is how I got sober. This works. Right. It worked for me. Let me show you. And I'm still, some of them have taken the step and trusted and listened. Some have not. And some have and found a different way which is great. But it's a way.
Right. There's a lot of ways.
Right. And there, I remember when me and Jacob were first talking about like programs, and when you told me what you told me about the programs that you've studied, they all have three things in common. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
it up for you.
So I said, I've read like loads of recovery literature. Like any program that's like reputable, like has a good reputation to it, right? There's a lot out there that do not.
And you said it was a range. Like there was like alt-right Christian.
Oh yeah, I've read.
We're going to pray the fucking gay out of you to the full-blown like satanic shit and like everything in between.
I read satanic to like moderation type of recovery, which any listener out there, not a thing, doesn't work. Please do not try it. It kills addicts.
Yeah.
But the three things out of any program that I could find and talk to a human with over 5 years of sobriety, right? I thought that was crucial to give it like reputation. Like this is a program I believe it because I found people that worked it for at least 5 years.
Yeah, that's good.
They're still clean.
Okay.
I thought it was a good number to have. And the three common things was abstinence, honesty, and sharing with like-minded people. Like those three things I believe are crucial.
Abstinence from your drug of choice, not banging.
Well, complete mind-altering substances, I should say. Is that better?
Thank you.
So complete abstinence from mind-altering substances. But and like being honest about where you're at, right? Because if you're not honest where you're at, how are you going to get better, right? If you tell somebody you're good or you're not good, well, nobody's going to help you, right? and then just sharing with other addicts in recovery.
Yeah.
Right. Those three things I believe are the crucial part of a program. And the good side of the program, which like, because Chris took a different route than like me when it came to that. But one thing our things have in common though is we were both abstinent. We both shared with like-minded people.
Yep.
And we're both honest where we're at. And our program's designed then now to give you the good orderly direction. That's my favorite. Like, because like you use God in the 12-step program, they're like, we'll change the meaning. And my favorite meaning to change it to is just good orderly direction. Right?
Okay.
God shows me how to do the right direction for my life.
G-O-D.
Good job. There's a word for that, but I can't think of what that's called.
Yeah. You know, when I got out, so my outpatient, I did it for a year, and it really, I don't even feel that I was required to do it by anything. It was the group learning. Because since we've opened outpatient, he's got to go. He's got to go open the door or something, sweep the hallway. But since I've started, when the most important, since we've opened outpatient, I get a lot of questions, and I tell people that as important as inpatient residential was for its own reason, because I needed that fucking hard reset. I needed to medically be detoxed, otherwise I could have died with the alcohol use.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I needed to take a... Oh, fuck. Look who it is.
Sorry,
What's up, buddy?
Look at these two.
So I wanted
Hey.
to say hi to Chris.
You want to get on?
No.
You got a face... You
Jump
got
on here. Nice to meet you, Jeff.
This is the dad of Eric Conley.
That's right.
Mr. Conley.
Very nice to meet you.
He's the OG. So
I guess he's here fixing
I
something.
did. Trying to fix me.
Well, that's a fucking losing battle.
I didn't want to interrupt Mr. Stride, but I wanted him to say hi. This is the first time he's seen two.
Oh, yeah.
So.
You like it? Looks good, right?
Very nice. Yeah, fantastic.
What yard sale did you get this desk from?
He's been talking mad shit on this desk.
I mean, look at it. The fucking thing. This ain't a Baltz.
We tried to staple that. It didn't work.
We're not editing this out, just so you know. You're on prem. Dude. You're on cam. Look at that.
You are on camera.
You're going to need to sign a consent form.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we're heading.
Love you, boys.
See you.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, be good.
That was great. What a cameo.
Yeah.
We will have Eric on. His dad's been through some. Eric put his old, like you were saying about your mom. But I'll let them share that story. Rod, Mr. Conley, was like a second dad to me growing up. So
Yeah.
good to see him. But that outpatient group, what I was saying is that group learning, like-minded individuals, obviously complete sobriety, abstinence from alcohol, or, and I always say I did. And you might challenge me on this, Jacob, but I don't. Maybe I don't know if I was a cocaine addict. I did coke to drink more alcohol. What the fuck was that? I just had a
My
beep.
Do Not Disturb just kicked off on me.
Damn. But I did, so I would do. But again, so I was abstinent from alcohol and cocaine. And the honesty part goes with that humility and surrender. And I mean, fucking bullshit. There's no point to it. And I used to do it. I mean, you go into your primary care physician, your PCP, and they ask you how much you're drinking, and you lie to them. Like, why people do that, and I'm like, why? I was so stupid. Like,
Right.
this person A is bound by confidentiality. It's going to help you. Why the fuck are you lying to them about what you are or are not doing? But I learned that pretty quickly. And a common saying we have here, or even up on the street, is that how do you know an addict, an active addiction is lying to you? It's when they're open, when their lips are moving, right?
I've been rewatching. Do you remember that show House that used to be on the medical
Doc? Yeah.
I've been rewatching that show because I don't know why, but I have been.
That's a good show. He's pretty good.
Yeah, and like he says on every episode almost, he's like, patients lie. Right. And I'm like, oh, there's Chris.
But I don't know. It's not. And the thing is like lying to a doctor is because you're lying to yourself.
Right.
Right.
Lying for, absolute no gain that's all based in shame.
He's not trying to face reality.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's the fucking hard part. So once that's what going to treatment and checking into rehab is that fucking letting go, being honest. Let's talk about it, and we can get you better, and you can get yourself better with, taken a few fucking lessons in listening, but it's and we get people coming through that still want to do it their way, and they've had to have sit downs with our boy that just walked in the door a little bit, and he knows how to roll up his sleeves and have a heart to heart with some. I mean, that was him, stubborn.
Yeah.
Tried it his way, and a lot of people try it their way even after they go to rehab, and they end up back in rehab.
Someone had that conversation with him, I guess.
Absolutely. I am knock on wood lucky to have it done. I could go once, and to me it was a fucking screaming match the first night in rehab with Jesus. Like, how the fuck did it get to this? And I was in strip search by a guy with small fingers named Frank, thank God. And put into hospital scrubs that were too small, and I was had a roommate that called himself William Wallace, that was like using his head as a battering ram in the door to try to get out because the nurses stole his meds. It was just fucking crazy, and I'm like, what? How did it get to this? And I was just fucking humbled, and I woke up the next morning with just this profound sense of peace that I'm just done. I fucking cried myself to sleep like a 5-year-old, and that was the thank God. I'm so grateful. The conversation I think I needed, and then the like fucking love and grace to follow it is just undescribable. And when you get that, when you receive that, you just want to reach your hand out and help. Whether it's doing a podcast in your basement with a fucking COVID mask on and a Moderna shot in your asshole or whatever. I mean, we did that, or finding a way to be a part of a team here that is the fucking dream team of recovery. People that, and I got to quit blowing this guy up here, but like, Jacob drives a fucking hour and a half to work every day because he lives out. I always say fucking Sullivan, but it's where they filmed those Deliverance from bumfuck Egypt, Missouri. But he drives here every day. Our executive chef drives from maybe she's in Sullivan. I don't know. She's fucking way out there too. Yeah. And our director of operations, who is a badass. I always scared to death of her. She drives from Festus. I mean, it's not for the paycheck, I promise. It's because they fucking love this mission, these people, our clients, and the team here, man. I put my hand on a Bible with that shit.
Right, kind of circling back to like what you said, like what sets IRC different.
Mm-hmm.
Than other treatment centers. It's the staff we have.
God,
right.
I am fucking biased, but I'm telling you, for me, Jacob, it is, besides the health of my wife, and today happens to be our 5-year anniversary that we had the privilege to adopt our son. January 22nd, 2020, we adopted Charlie. Like, after those two, like, just gifts from God, this is it. And when Ashley's being mean, I might rank this ahead of her. Like I ranked the Stanley Cup victory ahead of our wedding. It's the greatest day of my life.
I second that.
Yeah, right. Well, you're not married.
No, but Stanley Cup. I think that's the last time I cried. So. Stanley Cup. I've had a kid since then.
Unbelievable.
Right.
We and we have fun,
Yeah.
And you had asked about the alumni program. They're based on recovery, but they had an alumni blues game where they all got rented a bus. They go bowling. There's a softball league.
They're a county league softball.
I think they
league.
Suck, but they're.
They're going to listen to this, but they're
there. That's all. They need to
show up.
Listen, motherfuckers, they need to pick it up. Do I need to come out and coach these bitches? Come on, Justin. God.
But so like they do fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like 7 nights a week, without a doubt, there's going to be. I think we had a group going out to Cabin Fever, which is like an NA convention in February coming up. They went to the Blues game last month. I think they had a group of like 45.
Yeah, there was a lot
of them. But you got to have fun in recovery, right? Because that's like one of the things we got to learn. Because Chris, you probably can back this in active. Like you think once you lose a substance, you can't have fun
ever.
Right.
I like hardcore belief in my head when I got clean is I could not watch a comedy movie.
Really?
Anymore.
That's
So,
interesting.
like, I just thought it wouldn't be funny. I don't think I watched a comedy movie from like age 12 on. I wasn't stoned for it, at least,
Uh-huh.
you know. Then I watched one and I laughed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, you can't.
I mean,
Like,
that's
possible,
crazy.
you know?
I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah,
I've
it's something
never
like
heard
that simple. Yeah,
But that's so. I mean, I wrote a blog on it. We did an episode on it back in 20, and I remember it because I still tell this to people that I really believe that alcohol, heroin, our drug of choice, tricks our brain into thinking you can't fucking have joy without it. I mean, that's pretty simple, right? That's 101, like what it does to our brain, and that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I've found so much joy in life, more joy than I've ever had than getting high.
Oh, that's like one of our biggest, like, because like a lot of us use so we don't have to feel bad feeling.
Right.
Right.
But we don't take into account, like, if you're blocking out the bad feelings, you're also blocking out
Bingo.
your good ones. So even when you thought you were happy while using, the happiness without the stuff is 10 times better. Like, you feel that joy.
Yeah.
I always share, which is kind of one of my happy moments of like early
tell
recovery
us.
was, so like,
Tell us about your happy.
I had like probably 30 days. I was fresh out of treatment, and I had my daughter was a little over a year old at that time.
So you got clean after she was born.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I started
important.
like really put like all my effort into getting clean when my girlfriend at the time got pregnant. Like that's when I put for
Nice.
effort to stop. A lot of failure, like, you know, learning how not to do it, I should say. Right. But
What do they say about Edison?
Yeah.
He failed 200. He didn't fail 200 times in making the light bulb. He learned 200 ways not to make it.
Right. Yeah.
So I did that for, you know, the first
Sure.
year. But I got out of treatment. I went and like saw my daughter for the first time, and perfect day. She like I was so scared like she's not gonna know who I am, you know, or she's like just not even gonna come near me. Hugged me, called me daddy. You know, it was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
8 hours, amazing, you know, with her. And I get to my car, which was '87 Mercury Topaz back then, you know, beast of a car.
Were
Right?
even born when it was.
No, it was not, but it had a pop started to go. But I get out to my car and I just like broke down. I'm
Yeah,
bawling
man.
my eyes out.
That's
so I was
good
having
shit.
this like feeling and I didn't know what it was. And also I didn't really understand like you can cry and be happy. Like,
Yeah.
those two
Right,
things
yeah.
didn't connect. So I called that guy Tom, actually, like one of my big mentors earlier on. I'm explaining to him like my emotions. And I'm asking like, what is wrong with me? Why am I crying after a perfect day? This makes no sense. What is wrong with me? He goes, "You're a dumbass. That's called joy. It's called being happy. Welcome back to like reality." And
Wow.
that's when it
Oh,
clicked
that's
to me.
awesome, man.
I didn't know what happiness felt like.
Wow.
I couldn't connect it to. I thought someone was like deeply wrong with me because the
Yeah.
way I felt, it was called joy.
Then the
You know?
2019 St. Louis Blues led you to another crying.
blew
episode.
that out of the water.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Annalise.
No, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah.
That is the. I remember checking in to where I went, and my mom was with me before they took me back and finger fucked my asshole because of the strip search. I'm kidding. They didn't do that.
They did. But.
You know, I said, I don't have a fifth of whiskey up there, motherfucker. You can get your fist out of me. Sorry. That's grotesque. I was telling them I just want to get to where I can barbecue on the summer and have a couple Coronas by the pool. Right. And the best thing they did was sit there and just say, all right, and kind of take notes, knowing that we just got to get this guy like through the double doors, right? You know, we have him
Get him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just need to get me in, and then they'll break the news to me that that's not a thing. So, but I didn't think I could fucking do anything, watch a sporting event, anything,
Nothing.
and find any joy. And when I got out, I went back to what the last time that I was completely before I knew what alcohol was, before I knew what blow was, and it was when I was a kid. It was, like you said, I was probably 12 when I started drinking. I went and got a Sega. I went and got like sports hats. I watched games. I would go to Busch Stadium and get there like in the first and leave in the ninth, which was unheard of for fucking me. That when as soon as my half pints in my cargo short pockets were empty, I had to get the fuck over to Kilroy's or something. I couldn't be at the baseball game anymore. I was loving Blues hockey again, and not, you know, and then there's some grief stuff layered on top of that with my old man, but I was really able to sit and get through that and watch a game. And on top of being able to experience joy, another big thing that may be even more important is what I was self-medicating from and what I was fucking avoiding and drowning out in whiskey. I was able to feel and work through because I was feeling my fucking feelings. And that, I mean, if not all, a lot of us are self-medicating by our use, and because feeling those feelings is hard, but the only way is through them, not around
Right.
them. And you learn from it, man. And grief is for me, it was grief, and grief is fucking love. It is, and it's worth it. As gut wrenching as it can be, but you're able to feel your feelings and work your way through them, instead of fucking pushing them down or leaving them somewhere while you're at the bar. It's not worth it, and it's not healthy. So finding joy again is huge. I'm glad you brought that up, and feeling your feelings. But I want to hear your story too, Jacob. Where I've heard it, but we're going to have you as a guest on one of these episodes. I know Nathaniel wants. We're going to have him on. He's got a powerful fucking story. Yeah. So we'll have a lot. I think we're just to workshop here for if there's any listeners. We'll probably drop once a week. See how it goes. Maybe get into a studio that wasn't built with duct tape and yard sailing. But I love yard sailing. I chirp you, but I used to love. I used to do it drunk. We'd go around yard sailing, me and Screech. But we already have people that want to come on. We do like to bullshit and not be super heavy all the time, and we might talk a little sports, a little movies, stuff like that. But it's a recovery based show, right? And an addiction and based show, and I think that'll be the crux of it. But maybe we'll have a episode or two or figure it out. But if people do take to it, want to send in email questions, and if we can have we can set aside a bunch of questions and have an episode dedicated to maybe answering some of that shit. But in the meantime, we on the show notes and the website and the YouTube page, wherever the fuck we're at, we'll have contact information if you have questions. The most important is how to get a hold of us, how to get a hold of the facility. Jacob, we have 24/7 call center, obviously 24/7 nursing staff. I don't know if it's more times than not, but we admit off hours. Many times people come in, it's not an 8 to 5 business.
You gotta be a big believer. Like, if somebody's willing to come to treatment, you gotta get them in then.
Mm-hmm.
That willingness can fall short 6 hours later. You don't want them to wait.
Yeah, we have and we have our medical director oversees our nurses, and we have we're medically assisted treatment detox. Mm-hmm. So I think one thing, if there is someone that is in active addiction listening, is sometimes you or they are too smart for their own good. Mm-hmm. Because if you've been hitting it hard and using, I've learned this on the street, or you're deep into what's now a fentanyl addiction. Your body pretty well. I've learned that, but almost too well. And what you try to tell. We've seen this, the doc or the nurses, exactly what you need to taper, and you just got to put all that down and listen, and let us, like we said earlier, your ways. It's not working right now. You're still trying to move that mountain with a rope, right?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, we've had all walks of life come through, and I've seen that from, the heroin or fentanyl addict that's lost it all, that may be unhoused, to, people in high ranking positions, city government, legal, and everything in between. And it's always, when I get the privilege to do the church or just be on campus, it's always the most diverse group of people that I get the privilege to be around. It's the disease of addiction, like cancer, diabetes, name it. It doesn't care who you fuck, what color your skin is, who you voted for, what tax bracket you're in. It doesn't give a fuck about any of that. And it's nobody's immune from it. So, you know, it's it really is a privilege to be here, to get to see all walks of life get a shot at treatment. You don't have to be. Eric says this a lot, that he used to think you had to be, you know, high 6-figure income to go to treatment, and that's bullshit. Call us. We can explain it to you. You know, we accept all major insurances, right? And if there is an issue with insurance, we definitely, I would say, have a very aggressive payment plan. I've also, you know, I think this is important as a first episode, just talking about treatment, talking about us here at IRC. There's a lot of times addicts have burnt every bridge and don't have financial means. So we may ask you, you know, how much are you spending on dope a day? And let's turn that around and put it toward your treatment. And it's what the most important thing is, it's not for, you know, this is an building that operates and has to have expenses covered, right? But it's more for the addict to have some skin in the game. We see a lot higher success rate if you're here and you're investing in yourself, and you put whatever that skin is in the game, and it makes you accountable, and it makes you think twice before walking out the door and heading on down the road and giving up if you've you know made an investment, whether that's small or large, in it. Sometimes if you're here and you don't have any skin in the game, it's a lot easier just to say, fuck it, I'm done, I'm
Right.
leaving. And, you know, nobody's here against their will, so they're free to leave. AMA, it's against medical advice. But, yeah, call our call center. We'll have numbers and all the information on the show notes and the website and all that good shit. So you can find us. We'll be on the socials. The socials, that's what they're saying.
Yes. The socials.
So here's the socials to me. It's Facebook and Instagram.
That's what we got right now.
They shut down TikTok?
And YouTube. TikTok's up.
YouTube's a social. So yeah, I'm glad you said that.
I don't know if you can do TikTok. I don't know if you can create a new TikTok right now. It'll be back though.
Grinder. Is that a social?
We're not
Yours
on there.
social, but
We'll be on anywhere you can find us, and contact information. What any other logistic stuff I'm missing for this opening relaunch?
I don't think so, man. We're glad to be back.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Welcome, Jacob.
thank you.
What's our time, Jacob?
We're at an hour and a half. So
Hour and a half. You think anybody's listening?
I don't know more.
Probably not. No, this is good. I'm excited to have guests. There's a bunch of people that are rattling through.
Yeah.
Hear their stories. They can share it to their groups, and we're gonna spread a good message of hope, man. And so I found Jeff under a rock. I called him. Said we're gonna. Actually called him about a year ago. So let's meet for coffee. We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And then I still had a couple moving parts professionally that I needed to take care of, and I'm not 100% certain those parts have moved, but it's time.
Yeah.
No better time than now. So I called Jeff and pulled him. You weren't face down in your fucking up beer, but you don't have a problem. You like
Right.
a bourbon here and there.
I'll take a little bit. Very rarely though.
Yeah, now it's hard to with you got your hands full with a little Louis. Right?
Yeah. I got a 4-year-old, so
God damn, it's 4.
I know. It's crazy.
So
Dude, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I threw my back out
no pain pills.
zipping his jacket. I bent down. I think getting
That's
old
funny.
is hell, man.
Yeah, fuck.
I mean, I'm going to be 40 next year. No offense.
I guess I'm the oldest in here. You're younger than Jeff.
Oh yeah.
I'm an 83.
No offense, Jeff. but
Yeah, 85.
85. You're
90.
90.
Just the fuck out of here. A lot of miles on those tires, though.
Oh yeah. Feel like
Threw
I'm
your back
80.
out zipping his jacket. You got to come up with a better story.
I know.
Fucking bar fight or something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but you did text me the other night and like about, do you know this person? I fucking knew I knew the person.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's asking? I'm not ratting anybody out here,
Right.
Jeff. And, but it was a bar related incident.
It was, yeah.
That's funny. In Belleville, chances are I know.
Of course you do.
I think this is good, guys. First one. Do you guys got anything you want to add before I kind of close us out?
No, I think that was good.
I won't bring up the table again. We're going to, we got some logos and shit we can put on it and make this thing look pretty, put some lipstick on this pig. But I'm really grateful for both of you. I think this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be helpful. I'm sure we're going to piss a couple people off, but that's the world we live in. And sorry in advance, not sorry. We're not. I'm actually sorry. But before we go, I definitely want to dedicate this first show. I lost a really, really good friend Saturday, like a brother, known him for 30 years. And I just want to dedicate this to Cliff Gilmer from Fridays. Miss you already. It's not the same up there without you. You were imperfect, but perfect. And everybody loved you, and you loved hard, man, and showed people, for as big of a badass as you were, that it's okay for guys to fucking love hard and cry every once in a while. And that's a lesson that we all, especially the toxic masculinity that I lean into. Ashley sells it, toxic masculinity. So does my pastor. She is, she calls out the alpha male quite a bit. Thanks. Cliff, you were a real good example on how to love and love hard, man. And we're all going to miss you. There's a big hole in a lot of people's hearts right now. And prayers up for all of them. And you'd give your last $20 bill to somebody off the streets without asking twice. And we'll try to emulate that as we carry on in your name, brother. So dedicating the show to Cliff, this first episode, Pondoff's Anonymous 2.0, presented by and hosted by Illinois Recovery Center. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys, and I hope those that listened enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon. Let us pray.
If you're struggling or know someone that is, please have them check out our podcast and reach out to Chris or me. We want to listen, and we're super eager to help. Our music is Anti-Hero by McCall and Gentle Waters by Wild Wonder. For more information, visit pondoffsanonymous.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram.